My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, on this 25th Sunday of Ordinary Time, we reflect on God's love. This God's love is immeasurable by any human standard. Hence, the Sage invites us to imitate this love. All today's readings have one thing in common: God's love for us. In the first reading, Prophet Isaiah invites us to seek the Lord while he may be found, call him while he is near, let the scoundrel forsake his way. In this reading, we see a God who expresses his love for his people. Despite of our infidelity, we also see a God who continues to search for us, a God who cares and is ready to welcome us. In the second reading, St. Paul expresses his love for God and for the gospel. As Christians, often we are pulled in two directions. We all want to go to heaven, yet this life still appeals to us. St. Paul had the same mixed feelings too. Although he believed he would soon be released from prison, he knew he could fall victim to Nero's sword. This created a conflict in him. He longed to be with Christ, for that would be much better. However, he also wanted to live because of his love for his brothers and children in the faith. Hence, St. Paul's answer to life's profound dilemma is, "For me, life is Christ and death is gain." Love for Christ, the good news, and our brethren must motivate all our actions. It must be the same source of our strength. Through this, dying or living for God or our brethren will no longer be a tragedy. Instead, be a witness to the gospel. It will become an expression of our love for others. St. Paul summarizes his reflection with the following instruction: avoid anything in your everyday life that would unworthy of the gospel of Christ. In the gospel, Jesus presents us with a dilemma. How could the employer pay everyone the same amount? It was difficult for the earlier or first group of workers to understand, just as it would be for most of us today. The key to understand the action of the vineyard's owner is this parable in today's first reading. God reminds us, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways." What we see in the gospel today is simply the justice of God. His justice is governed by his generosity and unconditional love for all. His action towards the last group of the workers shows that he is not acting according to strict justice or economics. Instead, he is motivated by love and generosity towards all who respond to his invitation. To all of us, he has extended the same unmerited invitation. He will pay the same ways to everyone because his love is unconditional. His rewards depends not on when he calls anyone, but on his generous and unalienable love for all. What counts in God's vineyard is not years of service, but the diligence of heart as chosen one. All men are equally precious to God, no matter when they come in. God's reward for all in his kingdom is this: His grace extended to all who responded faithfully to his divine invitation. Finally, What matters is that the Lord is close to all who respond to His invitation. It does not matter how and when, His love is for all. We need to follow God's example and show loving generosity to our neighbor. When someone else is more successful than we are, let us assume that person needs it. When someone who does wrong fails to get caught, let us remember the many times we have done wrong and gotten off free. Envy should have no place in our lives. We cannot control and dare not pass judgment on the way God blesses others, only rejoice that He does so just as He blesses us. We need to express our gratitude to God in our daily lives. God personally calls each of us to our own ministry in this world and shows His care by giving His grace and eternal salvation. To God, we are more than just numbers on a payroll. Our call to His vineyard is a free gift from God for which we can never be sufficiently thankful. All our talents and blessings are freely given to us by God. Hence, we should express our gratitude to God by avoiding sins, by rendering love service to others, by sharing our blessings with the needy, and by constant prayer, listening and talking to God at all times.